So shortly after my review of the Sony X90J, Sony releases some phantom patch to fix some motion, at least according to some users on Reddit. Now, I don't put a whole lot of stock in Reddit, but there are some that do, and it has warranted some in the community to ask if I'll be redoing my review of the Sony X90J. At which point, no, it's not getting redone. No, it's not happening. And now, I'm not just going to leave it at a straight up no. I will at least give you the answer as to why it's a no. And if you're interested in that, smack a like on this video because I'm going to get to the point right now. Essentially, the bad motion isn't all that's wrong with the Sony X90J. You also have subpar black levels for a 2021 TV. Honestly speaking, my 2017 Sony X900E was more, let's say, buttoned up. And that's a problem because these new TVs are supposed to be the next latest and greatest. But as you see, newer isn't always better. And Sony is really getting worse with time. Also, if you're somebody that doesn't want to invest in a soundbar or has a smaller living arrangement and you just really don't have the space for it, only the TV will fit, yeah, this is not going to be a good TV because it has tinny speakers. It sounds like a tin can. It's really not a nice performance when you're talking about this kind of price tag to have really crap speakers. We don't expect you to blow us away, but damn, Sony, like at least do better than that. And then they have unusable brightness. Unusable brightness in the way that you have clipping and information loss that happens because of the way that the chipset works. Who knows? But I did show this off in the review process, and it's something that, honestly, that patch is very likely not going to have fixed. And also, when you look at the fact that they don't have VRR right now, a lot of people are kind of just like, well, that sucks. Because if you've got an Xbox One X, or rather Xbox Series X, and you're trying to play some, next generation gaming on your new HDMI 2.1 TV, well, sorry to break it to you, pal. This TV is not going to be a good idea because Sony, right down to their PlayStation 5, has just said, we'll do an IOU on the VRR. I don't get their logic on that, but that's kind of what it is. Oh, but wait, it gets better because if you're a PC gamer and you're thinking, yeah, I'll just use this as a PC monitor, there is no G-Sync. So if you're somebody that's looking for something that'll sync up perfectly with your NVIDIA graphics card, also not going to be your TV. Oh, but wait, there's more. There's also no more than just two. Hear me on this. There's no more than two HDMI 2.1 ports. I think at this point, they need to cut the crap because I can understand in 2020 when they were at the height of the pandemic and they had the excuse that was valid. Now it's just plumb lazy. The numbers have fallen. Everybody is basically back to work and big businesses were allowed to stay open while smaller businesses closed, failed, tanked, and ultimately went away in general. So I don't feel sorry for Sony for anyone trying to say they made a TV during a pandemic. That's kind of their job. And when they stayed open and all these big corporations did, I'd expect them to deliver something better than this. And they didn't. Also, there's the forced terms of service that they just kind of elbowed in there. If you don't agree, tough. If you want, it's just, bro, I could go on forever. If they want your opinion, they're going to give it to you. And it's comply with what we say or tough. You spent all this money. It's your money. You worked for it. And they're talking down to you, essentially, with this legal addendum crap. And if you don't agree, well, get bent. And it's so crappy. And I'm the only one that ever mentions it because I guess people are just okay with complying left and right to any and everything. But I'm not one of those people. And when there's some BS around, I'm going to say, hey, listen, this ain't tight. And this ain't it. And that's definitely one of the worst things about it. Then there's 100% plastic build quality. So if you guys who own it, remember back in the 900E days, we had the 930, hell, even the 930D, the, Z9D days, like those TVs were built with nice aluminum trim. They were like luxury TVs, even at the 900E level, by the way, which now has just kind of turned into cheap plastic all around, hollow. Oh, and by the way, it's 40% reclaimed, which basically means Sony cut costs for themselves to make you this TV, but then again, they didn't really do anything for you outside of that because it doesn't look premium. It just looks like a cheap hunk of crap. They didn't really try. And if you could forgive all of that, then there's also the fact that no matter how hard you try to justify it, no matter how much of a Sony fan you may be, TVs like Vizio's P-Series Quantum X, P-Series Quantum, Hisense with their H9G, their H9F, TCL with their R635, those TVs exist, and they are doing better for the money than this garbage. And I'm calling it garbage because at this point, Sony didn't try. And so, no, I will not be rebuying the Sony X900H, or X90J rather, for those who maybe might be interested in it or maybe might want to give it a second chance. I'm not the kind of person that gives 1,000,001 chances when you kind of had one shot to get it right the first time. I can't just buy everything. Now, to kind of explain it a little differently, I do this out of my own pocket. So it's not like it's free. It's not like I contact Sony and say, hey, just loan me a review sample. I pay for these out of my own pocket. So no, I'm not going to take, well over $1,000 of my own money and just throw it at the TV again that I already looked at and already got a pretty damn good idea of how it's performing within the first couple of days, so much so I was disgusted with it and I just didn't want anything to do with it. I'm pretty sure that feeling, that overall assessment ain't changing, right, Chief? So for those out there feeling like I'm purposely not updating the information because I want to make Sony look bad, there's other things that really are worse. Now, if I hear that the black levels are better, the audio magically gets better, the motion was improved, the VRR was added, then at that time, maybe it'll be worth re-looking at. But right now, it's too early. It's a rushed, unpolished piece of crap. And honestly, save your money and buy something from, I hate to say it, 2020 if you really don't have a choice, because the budget options won't arrive till like late May, like early summer, at least as far as what my sources tell me. So that's basically the word. So hopefully this video explains it for those who need it explained, and hopefully it was helpful. So if you have questions, leave them in the comments down below as usual. Thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty, and until the next video, I'll see you guys later.